So you are a fan of Casey Neistat's vlogs, you've watched a bunch of cinematic short films, you love those time lapses in my vlogs, in Casey's vlogs, in everywhere that you see. You know, the internet is bombarded with time lapses, but you don't really know how to film them well. So in this episode, I'm going to show you all the ways to record a time lapse, give you some tips and tricks and all that kind of jazz, coming up after the intro. Hey, it's AKAJK, welcome back to another episode of the JK Tech Show on the channel. And in today's episode, as I stated, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about shooting time lapses. Whether it be for a vlog, a cinematic sequence, or a film that you're creating. And I'm also going to give you my best tips and tricks along the way. But before I get started, I'd just like to say, if you like music, which you probably do, then make sure to subscribe to my Spotify playlist, The Weekly Grind, where I curate 28 epic tracks, and it gets updated every single Monday, so yeah, make sure to subscribe to The Weekly Grind, and let's jump in. So number one is pretty much the hardest way, and this is the timer method, as I like to call it, and here's why I like to call it the timer method. It's because you set up the camera in a certain position, let's say I'm setting this up right now, and a lot of people use an external device which you can connect to your camera, and it has a timer, or you can just do it yourself, but here's what you have to do. You basically take a photo every few seconds or however long your intervals are. Usually recommended is every 5 to 10 seconds. And you just click that photo button every 5 to 10 seconds. You stay there for like 20-30 minutes, or if you want a long one, you go for an hour, or however long. You can listen to The Weekly Grind while you're at it. But anyways, you just keep on taking photos. Now usually the more pictures the better. Don't get saturated with the amount of images. After that, you sort of take them into the editor, highlight them, retime them so that they get super fast and sort of look like a video when you play them all back. And just a quick pointer, usually videos are like 24 or 30 frames per second. So that's usually what you want to retime your clips to. If you don't get what I mean, then you can, drop a comment. I'll explain retiming on whatever editor that you use. I use Final Cut Pro. You highlight, click, I think Control-D, and then type in however long you want the entire sequence to last. After that, you can sort of plug them into your editor, add color grading, things like that, and all that kind of jazz, music, etc. Now, number two is the most practical way. I call this one the video time lapse. I like to call this one the video method. This way you use the best camera that you have access to. For me, it's the one that's filming this episode right now. Set it up like you usually would in the previous one and have everything sorted out. There are a few pointers which I'll discuss a little bit later on as a bonus tip at the end. You set it up and everything, but instead of clicking the photo button every few seconds, you click the record button, which starts filming a normal video like this one. But just hear me out, you gotta leave it there for depending on how long you want it to last. I don't know, if you don't have a lot of time, you can leave it there for like 10 minutes. You can have half an hour, depending on whatever the hell you're shooting. For example, sunsets, sunrises. Obviously, shoot them before they start and end them after they end. But obviously, depending on what you're shooting, you kind of set it up the time. You take them into the editor, speed them up however much you want. And then you get your, probably like a 20 or 30 second time lapse. You can speed it up however much you want, customize text, color grading, all the kind of stuff they usually do. But this one's much more practical, easier. You can leave your camera here, like I could just walk off out of the frame and, sort of leave this camera here and let it do its own thing. Come back, I don't know, half an hour later after I've been working on other things, and then you'll see. Which means you didn't have to sit around taking those photos, even though it might be a little bit better. Now this one is what a lot of vloggers use because they don't have time to sit there for an hour just taking photos. They got to do a lot of things throughout the day. Casey Neistat does this video method. I do the video method, which you can see in every episode of my vlog. Now number 3 is the easiest way. I take to calling this the auto method. Here's what you do. You take your phone, open the camera app, click the time-lapse mode and start recording. Leave it there, come back when you're done, and that's it. Yeah, done. You have your time-lapse. Then if you want to add any color grading or music, you can do that in post-production, but that's it. You've got your time-lapse. That is a fully functional like oversped video, which you can use and post wherever you want. You don't need to do any post processing to actually make it a time lapse. No need to customize any speed settings. No need to deal with humongous video files and an hour of a video or 2,000 pictures. You can still put them in whatever editor you use and add your music and text and color grading effects that you'd usually do. But as you've guessed already, with it being so easy, there are definitely a lot of downsides to it. Because I didn't choose this one and most people don't. Here's why. You can't really customize the speed of the time lapse, so it's just set according to whatever device that you use and however they preset it. A lot of them add their own color presets without your knowledge. My DSLR, when I use the time-lapse mode, it sort of adds like blur to the top and bottom of the video and only like a central part is in focus. It's weird. So I never choose this option. I just set up my camera and do the video method like I previously discussed. Now this, like most things, follows the chart of diminishing returns. Here's what that is in terms of this. Basically, you have the auto method and the video method. The difference between the auto method and the video method is large. So there's a big difference between that, which is why the video method is much better. Shoot with that, not the auto method, unless you really have to. Then the difference between the video method, which is here, and the picture or the timer method is this. It's small. There's not a big difference. It doesn't change that much. It requires a lot more work, which is why I don't choose it. What I do is weigh out the quality that I'm going to get and the time that I'm going to spend. I like to have it in the middle. So spending a much larger amount of time to get something that's slightly better is not worth it. Which is why most vloggers and creators pick the video method, like Casey Neistat, like me, like many others, so they don't have to waste their time on getting something that is just slightly better, and they can go off and do other things while the time-lapse is recording. Now, just a bonus tip for recording time-lapses: make sure there's movement in your time-lapse. If there's no wind pushing the trees, no wind pushing the clouds, or there's just no clouds at all, there's no city with cars and people and lights and whatever, when you speed it up, there's not going to be any movement. It's just going to be like a still image, which nobody wants, because why would you want to watch a still image for like an hour? Why would you want to watch a full minute of a still image? Nobody really wants to do that. Unless it's an image that AKAJK posted on social, at AKAJKYT everywhere. But that is just my bonus tip. Look for the movement. If there's no movement, then nobody will even know that it's a time-lapse. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode right here. But before I do that, I'd just like to say, make sure to join me tonight at 6 p.m. for the daily vlog, which I have every single day. Or tomorrow at 6 a.m. for another episode of the AKAJK Show. So, lights, camera, action. And I'll catch you tonight, because here at AKAJK, the grind is daily.